America 3017. The ultra-conservative Manifest Party controls the government. And the government controls everything. Nevertheless, we persist. We resist. We step out of line and we unfollow.
A wise man once said, "Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Except it's not the light you gotta worry about, it's your freedom." This is Unfollow the Revolution, the podcast devoted to fighting the good fight and sticking up for the little guy. I'm your intrepid host, Jack, accompanied as always by my co-host,
formerly Nicholas Kim Coppola, 813121. I met Mr. Puppet Master, and he mentioned that was Nicolas Cage's original name. But Ransom has been calling me Kyle Miller, 813121, and I don't know, Ransom laughs all the time about that.
You're still driving around that kid.
Yeah, I'm not being paid with money, but I am getting. I have a really tiny house. Like it's so small that there's no door. It's just big enough for me to like curl up in.
That's called a box.
Yeah, that's a box.
You're in a box.
Yeah,
they're giving you a box to live in.
Oh well.
Which honestly, I've been living in a chair for the last few weeks. I would love a box.
Well, you can't.
Once again, I'm very jealous of your living situation.
You can't have it.
Yeah,
that over there is a box.
Oh yeah, sorry to interrupt. Hey everyone, I am still your intrepid host, once again representing the voice of the Manifest, as I am held illegally and tortured daily.
Well, I gotta say, you are rolling with the punches, though. You're actually, you're getting your energy up. I like that.
I went to good schools, and I learned how to take a beating there.
Hey, there you go. That's all we can ever ask for, right? And also today, we have a very special guest. I'm very excited for it. A true man of the earth, real salt of the earth. Good friend of mine by the name of Cortez.
How's everybody doing out there? I'm a little nervous right now. I've never spoken through a microphone to a live audience before.
Oh, they're not live. No one is listening to this right now. It's going to be recorded now and then played back later.
Yeah, it's all good.
Yeah, so don't be nervous.
I'm not convinced anyone is listening to this.
I'm pretty
all.
sure no one is listening. Yeah.
Okay. Oh well, that takes the pressure right off.
Exactly.
There you go.
What? That does loosen me up. I can just without the eyes or the ears on me right now, I can be just old Cortez, like we're sitting on the porch.
There you go. That's why we brought you in. Just that real, just down home charm, just on the porch, talking about the real stuff, which we're going to get into that a little bit later in our interview segment. But for right now, we usually start off the show with some news going on in our country. Today, we got a little bit of something here. Let me look it up on my little personal device over here. Right, here we go. Manifest has reported that a convoy of citizens that have been bussed in from around the country has gone missing. They were on their way to Central Dakota to assist in installing new oil rigs, searching for oil. They have gone missing en route. As we all know, the Manifest does like to use the act of impressment to get new citizens distributed around the country. They say it's gone missing, but I smell foul play.
All right, first of all, I'm going to have to stop you here. The word impressment it's offensive, and we much prefer the term free location because you're relocated for free as an example of how free you really are.
Yeah, they also have no choice in the matter, taking away that free choice. They just wander out of a bar and suddenly, guess what? You live in Central Dakota now?
And you're welcome.
They have no choice at all. Most of these people aren't qualified to do anything aside from drink.
And they still get jobs. How wonderful is the Manifest?
What kind of job is it to just plant oil rigs in Central Dakota? The thing is, it's like walking on a waterbed around there. This thing is so porous from them drilling so much. There's nothing there. There are no trees. There is nothing. It's just flat land.
And oil rigs. Flat land and oil rigs.
I'm telling you right now, it was either hijacked or it was taken over by the citizens who know what's up, and they're probably on their way to, making their own militia group, honestly. That's what I believe.
You know what? It reminds me of a story that my old teacher told me long ago.
All right.
Yeah. It was all about how some people were being taken from one location to another for what they told them were jobs and opportunities. But in fact, you know what it was? Let me tell you what it was.
What was it?
It was nothing but what they called indentured servitude. Indentures, doesn't that sound almost lovely? Indentured servitude.
You're serving a higher purpose, and you're in dentures, so your teeth fall out, and you're gonna have good dental care.
You know what? I love. Here's the thing I love about the manifest. All right,
Break it down for us,
Okay.
Cortez.
This is the
Break it down for us.
I mean, out of all the bad they do, you gotta be impressed with their wordplay. They really, can take. To find the silver lining in a dark cloud is a very difficult thing.
It is.
Especially since most of those dark clouds are created by the manifest. But to still find that silver lining, I gotta tell you, when I see talent like that, I can't, whether I agree with you or not, politically, spiritually, humanely, I gotta, when you see a beautiful rose, you gotta say it's a beautiful rose. And that's something I do like about it.
I'll give you that. I mean, you have your terrifying flying fortress renamed Party Blimp 1, air-to-ground missiles, ground fireworks. They're good at it. I'm not gonna lie. It's like seeing a bear eat something. It's what it's designed to do. I can respect it. Doesn't mean I like it.
Yeah, but it's like I said, it's really. Let me get back to what I was gonna say. What my old teacher was telling me, because what my old teacher once told me was it was all about back in the day how they could sell anything to anybody if they just called it the right thing, the right words. Something like, oh, here's something way back in the 1980s. There was a diet pill had the unfortunate name of AIDS. Do y'all remember reading that in your history books at all in the 80s? It was like Slim Fast, but it was called AIDS. But then like 2 years later, the actual AIDS virus hit. And nobody wanted to buy that diet product anymore. Just unfortunate. So they learned to call it something that people will like, because people don't like it.
Well, they didn't back then. That was before we learned how to treat it so well, and now AIDS is a very effective diet program.
Oh,
my mom lost a lot on it, and she's doing fine because we got the vaccines. Just you get it for a week, you take off the weight, and you're back to normal.
They really did reclaim the name, and
Yeah,
turn
they found
around
a way
and
to
do
take it
something
back.
positive.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you come up with a vaccine that completely defeats a virus, you can do whatever you want with it.
You know what? You made a good point there again. You know what? Do you have any manifest literature on you? It's been a long time since I've.
If my hands weren't handcuffed behind me, I would totally be taking you on a journey through manifest literature. I can talk about the manifest all day. Buddy.
I'm sure Tag could, but like you said, the manifest uses honeyed words to turn people's minds around. They tell you it's one thing, but it's really another thing. Now, when I talk about like freedom, there's only one way that freedom can be taken, Freedom's always a good thing. Doesn't matter the means, doesn't matter the way it's enacted or anything like that. Freedom's always great, So that's what Unfollow, sells to people. And I think it's working out pretty good as well, all about, just the being paid with the sweat on your brow and, the hard work you put into it and, being paid off like that. That's what we're actually trying to teach old, what was your name again? Glenn Miller? Kyle Miller?
Kyle
Miller,
81312.
81312.
Come on,
It's less
Jack.
syllables. I like it. It's better than the Nick Kim Coppola.
Yes. All right.
Yeah, but we're trying to teach him a little bit about, what it's really like to be out in the real world, and that's kind of what we brought you in, You can tell us the real dirt about everything,
Oh, now listen, Kyle. If you want to know about the real, I'll tell you about the real world, Kyle.
I know nothing about the real world, so hit me with it. I mean, as much information as we can stuff into this tiny Nick Cage brain of mine, I would love it.
Oh, Kyle, let me tell you, out in the real world, tiny brains thrive. That's right. You don't have to have a big brain to make something of yourself. Just look at history. All the examples of like men who were nothing. They weren't smart, but they rose to the highest offices of the land.
That's true. That one of the things I learned in the Manifest schools. Don't think we've got that covered. That is one of the 17 unofficial mottos of the Manifest.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't need to think because we've got it covered.
That is catchy. That is catchy. Way back in ancient times, there was a company named after fruit that made computer products, and they had a nice little tagline that was "Think different."
Oh no. Oh, that's terrible.
No. I'm in favor of this. Thinking differently is great, you know? You get so many different opportunities, if everyone's thinking the same way. If you think different, you can get up behind them.
Wait, and they made computers and they thought differently?
They thought differently.
That's how you get robot uprisings, guys.
Well, it was the beginning.
Oh.
It was the beginning.
Cortez, I gotta say, your knowledge of lost history is amazing to me. I'm a bit of an amateur historian myself, but apparently the word of mouth, I guess from your family, just passing it on story after story.
How'd you pick all this up?
My family, my great granddaddy is what they call a griot. And that's a storyteller of the oral tradition.
Okay.
So my family just comes from a long line of griots. So they've passed history on up finally to me orally. Like, never written down. So I'm a repository, and the only way I can continue to teach this history is orally, which is why I'm so happy to be here on the show, because I can't write for shit. Ever since they implanted the microchips in our brains and the text just scrolls across your eyeballs, there's really no reason to can't write anymore.
Yeah, you just think it, and then it pops up. You send it to someone else.
Exactly.
See, what you do is you get like magnets, like really big magnets. I actually had to connect some metal to a car battery. You just stick that to the side of your head. That's gonna short out the chip.
Oh,
I did that about 10 years ago, and it's fine. Every once in a while I'll bleed out of my eyes, but it's, I think it's worth it in the long run. It's a healthy trade-off.
You know what? Back in the day, you boys know I'm just a simple cannabis farmer. Oh, yeah. Back in my great-great-great-granddaddy's day, that was how people learned about the world. They'd sit around, pass around the cannabis. The oral stories began going, and that's how it began. So what a perfect introduction to the real world. You know what? I got something right here in a little pouch.
Oh, all right.
All right. No, look at this guy, a little rolling
I smell
paper.
it already.
Yeah, and just there it is.
I'm picking up notes of autumn. That's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice.
There we go. All right, now here we go. Put that between your lips there, Kyle. All right, and now, okay. Now you know what? You ate it. You ate it. But you know what? That might even be a better high. That's right. That's
Okay.
right. That's
Yeah.
right. You know what? I'm just gonna put this match back in my pocket.
Okay. I can swallow that too if it makes
Okay.
it.
No.
Okay.
You're gonna be good. You're gonna be good in just a few minutes.
Yeah, we're gonna give that a little bit of a delay there. I know sometimes it can take a little bit to start up if it's oral.
Absolutely. Now, Kyle, I want you to, if something all of a sudden begins to feel differently physically, I want you to tell me. Okay? And that's how we'll know it's starting to work.
See, this is groundbreaking stuff, guys. We're on this very podcast, we're trying out new methods. Yeah, we're making news every day. So you've how long have you been a cannabis farmer? Has that been something that's been going on in your family?
Oh, my entire life. My entire life. I was born on a cannabis farm. I'll probably die there, God willing. But yeah, the cannabis farm was just passed down, orally, just like everything else in my family.
Wait, so there's no legal document for any of this? It's just you die and you tell your kid, hey, it's yours now, and that's it?
Well, yeah, you have to recite the complete legal text of the deed. So it's always in here.
Yeah, I'm not a lawyer, but I guess that checks out.
Absolutely. Listen, way back in history, there was, and I hate to keep bringing up old history.
No, you go ahead.
Yeah,
you go
we're loving
ahead.
history.
Yeah.
There was a great story about this man Eli who walked across the desert and people were trying to shoot at him, and then there was like a real hot girl for some reason who was like the only hot girl anywhere, and she just because what he thought it was a Bible, and so a crossbow and a rabbit to Alcatraz. This is before it was burning.
Oh yeah.
Turns out he had the whole Bible memorized in his head, so he just recited the Bible and they wrote it down.
Whoa.
So ever since then, now legally, you don't have to write down all your legal documents if you can recite them verbatim with all the legalese.
You're telling me that the American legal system was forever changed by this ancient movie about a guy named Eli and his book.
Forever changed. Set precedent. Like the Supreme Court referenced it.
See, this is the kind of thing that I'm glad we have the manifest now, that we're not taking legal advice from movies about people who eat radioactive rabbits.
What's so wrong about? All right, this is along the same lines of an agreement happening by way of a firm handshake. Instead of all this bureaucratic mumbo jumbo that the manifest likes to pop out, stuff like eminent domain and
Collateral damage, yeah. All the normal things when you're building a neighborhood or a new school or a new hospital.
It doesn't have to be that way. Everyone, the manifest is all worried about just like creating these huge businesses, these huge corporations.
Which, Cortez, I don't want to offend you, but those huge businesses, they make the best cannabis. I mean, I see what you got here, and it's cute. It's cute. I like it. It comes from your family. It's got a good little story, a little bit of history. Great. But no, I need my cannabis pre-processed. I need it manufactured. I'm a fan of big cannabis.
Wait, so what I had wasn't even the good stuff?
No, buddy.
Well, all right. Well, how are you feeling right now? First, how are you feeling?
I mean, not much right now, I guess.
All right, we'll give it time.
Are we
Give it
sure
time.
are we sure it's working?
Listen, I'll be honest with you. I'm just a small town farmer. I can't compete with big cannabis on their level. So I have to bring it down small. Like for people who want to know that their cannabis has been personally handed by the purveyor that's selling it to them. You won't get that with big cannabis. It's all robots and telepaths.
Exactly. The telepath delivery system where they know how much weed you're going to need before you need it. And it just shows up at your house delivered by a robot, a down-home robot with a great attitude and a great personality that just reminds you of that aunt that you loved so much when you were growing up and just...
No, look, all right, Kyle. I want you to picture this, okay? Some robot that's pretending to be a close relative of yours hands you
Mrs. Butterweed.
hands you
pretending to be Nick Cage.
Yes, hands you a pristine bag of cannabis, all right, that is untouched by human hands and has been meticulously, built and organized and all that for your consumption. Or do you want a man who with his unclean hands has just plucked it from the earth, the very earth where life is made and life is born, and just
With cucumbers and drapes?
yeah, and just put together in a little baggie, written with a little Sharpie on the front of it of what it is. And it stems, seeds, doesn't matter. Because it's all made with love and it's all handed to you. Now, out of those two, which one would you prefer, huh?
Tell me a little bit more about this Nick Cage robot.
Well, all right. I feel like you're getting lost in the Nick Cage weeds here a little bit.
Can I eat the Nick Cage robot? Like, is there any part of it?
Don't eat robots. Like, it's not good for you. It's not good for them.
I just mean if it like powered down or
No,
something. Okay.
don't eat robots. Not good for you. Not good.
But you can eat a cyborg, but just part of it.
That is
just,
true.
Just the fleshy parts now. The mechanical parts. You're gonna chip a tooth on that.
Did they have cyborgs back when they had indentured servants?
You know what? I'm sure the servants wish they did.
Yeah.
That's how I think that was the genesis of the cyborg.
Oh, okay.
When you're an indentured servant, your imagination starts to go and you're like, oh, what could free me and kill my oppressor? And so you're looking at a machine and you're like, oh, but I'm just a man. But if I was merged with that machine, and thus some of the best sci-fi comes from oppressed people.
Really?
That's true.
Absolutely.
That's true.
Some of the best science fiction, the imagination, really, when you take, and this is something else I would like to give the Manifest credit for.
And I will take this credit on behalf of the Manifest.
When you take away everything that a man has, everything, his mind has no choice but to reach for the most creative ways that he can to sustain himself. If he knew the oral tradition, he could create a story, use that creativity and create a story and then go tell it. And people will be like, that's amazing. You're so imaginative. How'd you come up with that? And, he'll be like, hey, man, I live in the world of the Manifest.
So, Jack, you must not be very oppressed then.
Wait, what? How do you mean?
I just don't. I mean, I've never really seen you create anything.
Are you kidding me? Every week we are creating a podcast. This is like
The bucket system is the best thing you've created.
And really, I'd give the bucket system like 2 stars out of 5.
Are you kidding me?
The bucket system is it's every week I find new flaws with the bucket system.
Well, you know what? Where every flaw there is, there's an opportunity. We can expand and we can build on the bucket system.
I got some notes. First of all, I think there should be at least 4 buckets, and I think 2 of them should never touch the other 2.
We're gonna workshop that. All right, we'll do that in a few days. We're gonna have our monthly meeting.
And
We're gonna go over the bucket system.
And who's
all
going
right?
to pay for the extra bucket tag? I'm the only
Exactly.
one working around here.
Yeah.
I'm the only one with a bank account.
Well, then we can use it then.
Wait,
My
you have a
hands
bank
are
account?
literally handcuffed behind me.
Well, we can look that up though. Like we can access it for you.
You can orally tell us what your passwords
Yeah,
are.
there you go.
You're-
I see a griot in training.
Cortez, can you be an oral notary? If he were to tell us all this stuff, could you notarize it orally for us?
Absolutely.
Could you,
Fantastic.
with tag, can we get access to all of his, any of his holdings?
Absolutely.
We're going way too far. I just wanted a few buckets. Actually, as long as we're talking about things we can do for tag, letting tag go.
I don't know about that. Actually, let's talk about what we can do for Cortez. Now, Cortez, you have all this oral tradition, all this stuff. We actually have something Tag has access to. It's called the Vault. It actually is a whole bunch of stuff that the Manifest has deemed unsafe for the public. So, would you like to join us and see something? Absolutely. Like in the actual visual form.
Let's do it.
All right. Well, what do we got, Tag?
All right, just bring me the laptop, take my shoe off, type in my password. All right, see, this used to be my job before I was kidnapped. I flagged old movies for banned content and threw them in the vault. And, as long as we're talking about farms, brings to mind an old classic vault gym.
Yeah?
Starts on a farm, and people go on a journey. This is The Wizard of Oz.
The Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
Oh, but my great.
Wait, you've heard of The Wizard of Oz?
Oh, absolutely. The family
We
passed,
can't stump this guy.
That's
they
fantastic.
passed down the story orally. But I've never seen it.
Oh, you're in for an experience?
Oh, this is gonna be fantastic.
This would be great to see how much of what this oral tradition matches up with the actual thing.
You know what? Absolutely, like a game of telephone back in the day.
Yeah.
All right, we'll start that up. I'm gonna get us some refreshments. Would you mind giving Kyle Miller here another little bit of that weed? It doesn't seem to be taken.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know what, Kyle? Just go ahead and ingest the entire bag.
There you go.
Yeah.
The whole,
Just-
just don't even take it out of the bag.
Yeah,
Kyle's constitution is pretty legendary. He's
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well,
There it goes.
we'll start this up, and we'll be right back, and we'll enjoy The Wizard of Oz.
This Saturday, the Manifest hosts a live concert for the group Guantanamotion with all your favorite band members like
Jeff.
Trey.
Jeff K. I don't know anything. And Siler.
singing the hits like Enhanced Interrogation, Douse My Heart with Your Ice, and Al Qaeda You Maybe. To find out if you've already purchased a ticket, check your bank statement for Ticketmaster. Attendance is required for ticket holders. Failure to attend qualifies you for re-education. Enjoy the show!
Wanton emotion.
Okay, guys, that was The Wizard of Oz. Now, I think it's pretty obvious why I had to flag that. And there's a lot of good stuff in it, a lot of good symbolism, but honestly, that movie is one of the most egregious examples of failing the Beck-Don't test that I've ever seen.
The what now?
Oh, I'm sorry, you're not in the film industry. Okay, so the Beck-Don't test. It's just a test about gender roles in a movie and how they're portrayed. So whenever you have two women in a movie and they have a conversation that doesn't involve a man, it's not about a man, the man's not there. That fails the Beck-Don't test because it's like, Becky, don't do that.
All right, so that's why this was.
Yeah,
this is why
there's
this
just
was
a
taken
number
off.
of times that two women talked. I mean, I can't even. I actually lost. I was trying to keep track this time. I was trying to count every time it failed, and I just lost track. Too much. So yeah, as we all know, men they need to be the center of attention. It's just an imperative we have. We get confused when we are not, or sad, or angry, or legislative, and that's why the Beck-Don't test is really important. That we make sure we're protecting men. And just having fairness.
I mean, that's just science.
Yeah.
You know, like, all right, so you have your men who are just, we need to be the center of the attention because then we're going to do stuff.
Right.
Because everyone's looking at us. So we're going to make a decision and, enact whatever we need to do just because everyone's looking at us. And, we gotta satisfy them, right? Sometimes I feel like maybe that's just a lie we were told, though. You ever thought about that, Tag?
Have I ever thought that maybe something I've heard my whole life from the manifest is a lie?
Yeah, no,
I've never thought that ever.
Really? You've
never can't. I'm surprised you would even ask me that question. It's like you have a fundamental misunderstanding of who I am as a person. And I thought, you're not listening to me, Jack? Do you not listen when I talk?
Whoa, y'all.
I've just
Calm down, everybody.
Look, you're upsetting Kyle here.
I'm not upset
He
at
doesn't
all.
look that upset, actually. You look actually really calm. Are you? How's it going?
Oh, I guess it's going great. I mean, did you guys just watch the same thing I did?
Yeah, it was pretty. It was all right. I thought it was gonna get flagged because of like Dorothy and all them like teaming up to.
Oh well, yeah,
to fight.
I mean, sure,
I thought that's what would have gone.
Sure, they're witches and they're in power, and as we all know, if you're in power, it's because you earned it and you deserve to be in power. And people who aren't in power should never try and seek it. Never try and seek power. That's just wrong.
So you're telling me that the witches were in power? Because it didn't really read that way to me.
Oh no, it's just like the manifest. They're completely in power and yet the underdog, and we should feel sorry for them at all times.
No, see, I feel like that Glinda lady. All right, like she's the one who low key was like running that entire town. That town is really shaky. Everyone's way too happy. Everything's way too bright, and like. I don't trust it. All right, like
see, this is typical Jack. You see a perfect utopia and you want to poke holes in it. The Munchkin Land was great. It was great under the rule of the Wicked Witch of the East. House drops on her, and sure, the Munchkins think they want to be free, and they think they're happy when ding dong, the witch is dead, and they're having a good time and they're excited about it. Give it 1 week, you will have Munchkins eating each other for sustenance. You will have Munchkins hanging from trees. You will have complete and utter chaos in Munchkin Land because no one's there to keep people in line.
That's really dark, Tag. That's really dark.
yeah. Well, all right. Well, Cortez, what did you think of it? How did it line up for you?
Oh yeah, I was amazed by how much they left out of it.
Left out?
Absolutely. I mean, there was so much more to the story that was passed down to me that I was told ever since I was a boy. Like, for example, when they found the wizard, he didn't even own a chocolate factory. I mean, that makes no sense. What about the chocolate factory?
I mean, he could have owned a chocolate factory. We don't know.
That would have been. I feel like that would have made more sense.
They'd never even addressed the part of the story where the lion is supposed to eat, some kind of candy, and he turns into a giant blueberry. He didn't get into candy. He wasn't selfish. He was supposed to have like a rich daddy that gave him everything he wanted, but he didn't even turn into a blueberry.
Wow, I feel like, yeah, that's weird. Did you was there an edited
This
version?
is the movie. This is
Really?
exactly what it was.
Wait, Dorothy is supposed to get a golden ticket And that gets her into the Wizard's Chocolate Factory. And she gets the golden ticket and she meets the Tin Man. And then her and Toto, they touch the ceiling with the fuzzy lifting drinks.
Cortez, I think I have some bad news for you.
Do you guys have candy?
I think your family got some stories wrong.
Well, no. It's been passed down.
Yeah, I think there's maybe an inherent danger when a story is passed down from generation to generation over literally 1,000 years. I think information might be corrupted.
You know what? I don't.
Maybe you can't trust these stories.
Wait a minute. You trying to tell me the Wizard of Oz does not... It always ends like that with her just getting back to Kansas. They don't get into a magic elevator and fly off.
I have watched this movie so many times. Never once have they gotten to a
I
magic
feel like
elevator.
Cortez is making a lot of strong points, honestly. I mean, what makes more sense, all right? Being at trying to see the wizard and you're just like, oh, I have these shiny shoes. Or if you come in with a ticket, like literally this is a thing I can enter with. All right, that makes sense to me. Like the lion, of course the lion is going to eat whatever. This makes, I think Cortez is making a lot of good points here. I think your job's lying to you about what you're actually reviewing. I think you're not seeing the real deal.
Okay.
Tag, maybe there's someone who sanitizes the stuff before you see it.
Whoa. Yeah.
Like it's sanitizers all the way down.
Who sanitizes the sanitizers,
I
Tag?
have never been more offended that you think that the manifest would need someone to pre-sanitize things.
You know
before
what? That
I
makes
see it.
complete
That is
sense
my-
now. That makes absolute sense.
Okay, you know I didn't want to do this before, but Cortez, I got another movie I need to show you.
What?
I'm sorry. You pushed me too far, and I'm just gonna have to show you the truth.
What is this movie? Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Oh, I know the story of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. He's a boy wizard.
Okay,
Wait, what?
we're gonna watch a couple of movies as soon as we're done. And Cortez, I'm just really sorry.
I feel, Cortez, I'm on your side, you know? All right, you've got this perfect line, you know, back to the past, literally. And just like, Tag, you're just completely disrespecting all this tradition and all this stuff. His family has tilled the land for generations, and you're gonna tell him that Charlie is not a boy wizard. I don't even know. I'm trusting him. This is called faith.
What? So Jack, you're gonna let someone believe a comforting lie rather than knowing the uncomfortable truth?
What is comforting about a boy wizard? That's terrifying. You have a child with unlimited power?
You're right. When you put it in those terms, it is kind of scary.
Yeah, it's called bleak truth.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Did you guys notice that the movie changed colors partway through? I think that's when the stuff started working.
No, Kyle. The movie just they introduced color.
It just did that actually.
That's the movie. That
yeah, we all saw that. So.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
They just added color partway
Yeah, I just
through?
woke up and it was just color.
Yeah.
So like
I think it was just like a thing they did.
So
I
like
don't know.
there's probably nothing at all, no effect
I don't.
eating the cannabis.
Let me see your eyes.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
No?
yeah, I don't think it's kicked in at all. Which
It
is
looks sharper.
Oh, yeah.
Your
Yeah,
sense
you're
of shit.
kind of focused.
Yeah.
Really.
Okay. Well,
Feeling any paranoia or anything like that, or
I think you've really kind of taken all the paranoia in the room. It's,
Well, it's
I
well
can't.
earned,
I've never felt more calm in my life when I'm around you because it's like you absorb any sort of paranoia.
I'm gonna take that as a compliment.
Yeah. Well, okay. So a couple things that I want to know about then that I just. Okay, there was the red brick road. I wonder what's down that path. The road less traveled.
Maybe that's to the factory.
I think it's very important we don't consider roads less traveled, and we take the main road every time.
I feel like it might be more important to take that road. Like, even if it leads to the same place, I think that not using the main road might be a better move. Like, just for yourself, you know?
Maybe safer.
Well, not safer. It might be worse, actually. If it's well traveled, it's probably like well defended, and everyone knows that. If it's less traveled, probably gonna be wilderness. Probably gonna be bears. But that's not important. What's important is that you did the damn thing and you walked through it.
You know, there was also that moment when they got to the Emerald City and you were talking about the Wizard of Oz, and there's this sort of no one has seen him before. No one's allowed to see him. And I sort of and it turns out finally when they saw him, he wasn't like all that. He didn't have magical powers or anything.
Yeah.
He gave them things they already had. And I'm starting to like wonder, what if Unfollow is sort of like that for you? What if Unfollow is your Wizard of Oz, Jack?
Wait, what do you mean?
Well, it's yeah, I know. I kind of see where you're going here. It's something you put a lot of faith in that you really believe is gonna change the world for you. It's gonna be the answer to all of your dreams. But what if you were to ever really find Unfollow, and you found the people in charge of what you think is Unfollow? What if it's all a lie?
I don't even know. I don't even know how to answer that question. That is a ridiculous question.
You're getting really defensive, Jack.
Yeah.
I'm not getting defensive at all. Everything I'm saying is making sense. I'm making good points. You're not making any good points. Everyone's being crazy and ridiculous about this. Unfollow is totally real. You just wake up and you know it. So I don't even know why people are just like trying to talk razzmatazz over here.
You see what I'm talking about with the paranoia?
Yeah. You see, Cortez, this is what we have to deal with every single day.
Look, I have faith in Unfollow, just like I have faith in Cortez's oral history. All right?
But you know, Jack, sometimes our faith can be tested. And if maybe you're right. Maybe through the past 1,000 years, the stories I've learned have been embellished. Maybe they're not 100% true. So then you have to look at yourself in the mirror and say, was I raised by a generation of liars? Maybe that's really who I am. So you can either embrace that or continue down the path you were going, the yellow brick road, so to speak. Because now you know there's no chocolate factory at the end of it.
No, there's not.
There's no chocolate.
There is not.
Maybe I should have gone down the red road.
So what you're saying is, Cortez, that I could just wake up one morning and be like, all of the Nicolas Cage clones that I burned and all the facility. Well, when I rescued you, remember?
Remember, Jack?
Yeah?
You sent them all to the farm upstate.
Oh,
where they're all
right.
playing
Yeah. So if
and
I
living free.
So if I
on
wake
the
up,
farm.
if I wake up one day and I think about all those Nick Cages that had some burns, so they had to go to the farm to repair themselves. And all the people I've kidnapped over the years, and all the things that I've stolen, and all the assassination attempts that I've made on paper, and I just wake up one morning and I realize it's all a lie. I don't. That's ridiculous. See, all right, here's where I think you're maybe a little bit crazy, Cortez, because you're thinking about all the stuff that happened in the past. This is stuff that's happening today. It's happening right now. So there's no lens of like the past or hindsight to prove me wrong. It's kind of like the Matrix, with those pills, You can take the one pill and you can, realize all this stuff, or you can take the other pill and keep on going on. And I think my way is to wake up and keep on going on down that red road.
So you're taking both pills.
Yeah, I think it's leading me down the right path.
Speaking of where it leads, the whole movie revolved around Mrs. Gulch. She was going to take Toto and have him put down for biting her. Mm-hmm. That was never resolved at all.
No, that dog's dead.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely. No question about it.
I
think there actually was a director's cut of this. I only have the theatrical release, but I think there was a director's cut where it's a good 20 extra minutes of them taking Toto. And this was back before they had a safe euthanizing thing with like a shot. Like they just put him in a tractor and just tried to because a small dog is hard to hit with a tractor. So it probably was like one leg at a time.
Okay, Tag, I think I'd appreciate Cortez's telling of the story here, especially if his people have all been liars. Cortez, how did this?
I think that it's the director's cut. That's probably where all the chocolate factory stuff is, right?
How did the oral story end?
It was a Cadillac. So, but Toto still met his end, so we know that piece of the story is true.
Can we make up an ending? Jack, what do you think the ending should be?
Well, Kyle, I think that in my version of it, they get back, and Miss Gulch comes back and, is right there when Dorothy wakes up. And just says, hey, instead of taking the dog, I brought everyone sandwiches. And then they all eat sandwiches.
Nick Cage sandwiches, yeah?
Yeah, it's those Nick Cage sandwiches.
I like this. This is a.
Do you
guys
put
should-
mayo on a Nick Cage sandwich, or is that considered rude?
It's both considered rude but delicious. It does sort of affect the flavor, but in the right ways. The thing is, mayo is just such a rare commodity these days that.
Oh, I got cannabis mayo.
Wait, what?
You can make mayo out of cannabis?
Oh, absolutely. You can make so many things out of cannabis.
So does the cannabis mayo, also taste like urine Listerine?
Yes, absolutely,
okay.
absolutely. It's got a slight yellow tint.
Because I really
to it.
did enjoy the taste.
Oh, okay. You know what? Hey, I brought a little jar. Because I didn't know I was going to give each one of y'all a little something. So I brought each of y'all a jar.
This is a nice.
That's cannabis
That's a
mayo.
nice
Thank
thing
you.
to do. No guest has ever brought us a gift before.
Yeah, that's nice. Thank you. Thank you,
Mr.
Cortez.
Puppet Master has also been giving me some Nick Cage steaks, so we could actually go ahead and make some Nick Cage steaks with cannabis mayo if we want.
Okay, that'd be all right.
Yeah.
All right.
I'd say we can fire up a little bit of a trash fire grill and cook that up a little. I think we've gone a little bit far in our stuff. We should actually move on to our final segment. Do we have any questions this week?
We got one. Let's see here. Let me use your personal device.
Of course. And how can people get in touch with us if they need to?
Yeah, they can reach us at unfollowtherevolution@gmail.com. They can also tweet us at unfollowtherevo. That's REVO. Go ahead and tweet us at what you think happened to Toto at the end of The Wizard of Oz. Give us your ending. That's what we really want to hear. Please, no dog death. All right. Our question today: why didn't you hold ransom for Ransom? If the puppet masters created Chaz, doesn't that make Ransom a relative? I've seen countless movies about the kidnapping of, say, a president's daughter. Presidential relatives are a sought-after commodity. I've never tried to lead a revolution, but it seems like that you could have been helpful. That could have been helpful to your operation. Good luck, Cuck. Frank.
What? Cuck? Really? All right. Lovely. All right. What was his name again?
Frank.
All right, Frank. Let me tell you a little something. It's called making goals you can achieve. All right. Now I can do many things. All right. I can kidnap lower members of government. I can get into facilities. I can do things like that. One thing that I can't do, because unfortunately, even though one man can make quite a difference, I can't single-handedly topple an entire government. I am not equipped to fully handle holding a child for ransom from the president, all right? By God, I wish I could, all right? I wish I could snatch up every single child or family member of Chaz and hold them at gunpoint and just dare Chaz to step to me. I wish I could. I really wish I could.
You're getting a lot of sympathy from the listeners right now with the standpoint.
With all the assassination attempts on Chaz, I bet I am. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you that right now. But unfortunately, there's also another motto I live by. And that motto is, if you aim at the king, you better not miss. If I were to hold ransom, I would have one shot at getting it right. And unfortunately, I feel like right now, wouldn't be right. So this is called biding my time. This is a smart move, Frank. You cuck. That's what I think.
That was out of character wisdom, Jack. This is unprecedented. I've never seen you admitted your own weakness. You thought through the ramifications of a potential plan and decided against it because you weighed out the risks and reward, and you logically thought through what would likely happen based on the facts presented. You are a cuck. Ow!
See, I didn't think about that when I just did the damn thing.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I was thinking fast when I made the decision to not ransom. And also, by the way, quick sidebar, you heard Ransom. Ransom's a little jerk, all right?
Oh, she would have killed us all within a day.
Screw Ransom. I do not want Ransom in my life. I am surprised that Kyle Miller, 813121, is able to put up with Ransom.
I feel much safer here tied to this chair than I do in a room with Ransom.
Also, I will say, Ransom, if you're listening, we're still on your kill list. What's up? You ain't done nothing. Think about it.
Maybe Ransom's biding time as well, Jack.
All right. Well, again, she knows where we live. I can fight a kid. I've fought kids before. Oh, come on. You guys were talking about killing kids and killing siblings last episode. I can't talk about fighting kids. I'll fight a kid right now.
Ransom is a kid talking about fighting and killing kids, and we were talking about fighting and killing kids when we were kids. Mm-hmm. You're a grown man.
Yeah.
It's just a little less impressive.
I guess it'd be easier.
Yeah. Like, you're bragging about nothing.
Fine. You ever fought any kids, Cortez?
Oh, absolutely. Like, listen, sometimes they come into the farm at night trying to steal cannabis buds.
Oh, you've got to protect your property.
Absolutely.
You got it.
Absolutely. I put up a scarecrow, but they get smart to that. And eventually you got to sit out in the cannabis plant yourself.
Oh,
just like,
if the scarecrow didn't work, have you ever thought about getting a lion?
you know.
Or maybe a man made of metal, like one of those cyborgs you were talking about. Yeah.
Ooh, a man made of metal.
Like, there's like 3 lines of defense. You get a scarecrow, then a lion, then a man made of metal.
That can work. That can work.
And if they make it inside,
Well, then they deserve it.
I give them chocolate. The story, I become the living story once again.
That'll work. All right. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. You make your way in, you win.
All right.
I like that. Okay.
That way I don't have to fight them all the time to stay away from the cannabis. I just keep chocolate in the house, and if they make it through the gauntlet of terror, they'll forget all about the cannabis and come for the chocolate.
All right, well, with that, I think we're gonna have to call it, Cortez. I'm sure you'll have to get back to your stuff. But signing off, this is Jack.
Kyle Miller, 813121.
Tag YOLO Thompson. And hey, Cortez, if you need a lion guy, you let me know.
All right. All right.
And we'll see you all next week.
If ever, oh, ever a whiz there was, the Wizard of Oz is one because of the wonderful things he does. We're off to see the wizard, the wonderful Wizard of Oz.
Unfollow the Revolution is created and performed by David Gossett, Ben Mitchell, and David Nair. Produced by Rock Punch. Intro music by Alan Hanks. Voiceover by Kate Rasnick. We'd like to thank our special guest this episode.
Chris Gray as Cortez.
If you'd like to join Jack's fight against the Manifest, please support the American Civil Liberties Union at www.aclu.org, because the best way to fight tyranny in the future is to protect freedom in the present.